Reggie Wright Jr. lies and says that Tupac had bad credit, and that's why the house, the condo, the Rolls Royce, and the Mercedes Benz wasn't in Tupac's name. Also, Reggie Wright says that Suge Knight bought Tupac's mother a house, when in fact Tupac paid for the house. Did you know that Reggie Wright Jr.'s company, Right Way Security, wasn't a California legal entity when Tupac was killed? And what credit company or credit reporting agency did Reggie Wright actually work for? Let's get into some of this straight game.
Yeah. Blackjack. Life is like a game of cards. It's not what you dealt, but how you play it. Yeah. Blackjack. To play each situation correctly. I remember they used to laugh at a brother.
Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. It's your boy DELRAY, Richardson, platinum artist, platinum songwriter, Straight Game TV. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate your time. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, tell a friend, and like I always say, if you're new to the channel and you would like to be one of the first people notified when I drop some of this straight game, please do me a favor and hit that bell notification right below the video. I'm going to get right into it. Ladies and gentlemen, what I have for you today is something that's going to actually show you that I've been nothing but honest, nothing but factual with you. And I'm going to show you on this video right here in particular, where when somebody actually knew the truth, right, they would then proceed to lie about it to try to discredit you so that you could believe in what they're saying and follow the lies that they've been giving out to you. And I'm talking about Reggie Wright Jr. But this one here is particularly special, right? So, a few years ago, I told a story about myself being at the Chris Tucker after party. Chris Tucker had he had a party at this place called the SIR Theater. He had 2 comedy shows coming off a national tour. He performed at the Pantages Theater, and it was after party after that, right? And I told a story about how me and Dr. Dre, we were leaving the party. And when we left outside of the party, everybody was there. Suge was there. Tupac was there. Dre was there, of course. I believe Rappin' Forte. I believe Richie Rich. It was a lot of people at this party, this after party, because this was Chris Tucker's last show, and he ended it in L.A., right? And so, but I told a story about when me and Dr. Dre, we were leaving around about, I would say 12:30, almost 1 o'clock or whatever. We leave out the door, out the back door. And when we leave out the door, gunshots rang out like bap, bap, bap. And so Dre jumped in the bushes, you know what I mean? And I tried to, was looking for a place, but wasn't no room, so I'd get down. And so I start banging on the door so that somebody could come open the door for me, because when the door's shut, they locked, right? And so what I found was, guys, I told you Reggie Wright's been over there deleting videos that expose his lies and the fact that I've been telling the truth, right? But more importantly, I found some statements from people who had been on to Reggie Wright's page before I long became to know who he really was, and so on and so forth, and before he started to mention my name after I'd been coming out with these facts. So the video that I did was on the Art of Dialogue, right? And so I want you to understand, Reggie Wright actually spoke on my story, confirmed my story, and said that he was there, right? But he kind of embellished a little bit and said that, they were shooting at Tupac and Dre and so on and so forth, when it was actually myself and Dr. Dre leaving out of the back door. When we came back in, and after I told Suge, because Suge opened the door for me, when we came back in, I told Suge, Suge was like, what's up, homie? I was like, yo, they out here shooting. And that's when Suge rallied up the troops, told the security and so on and so forth. And that's when everybody else had found out about it. These are facts. Like I said, if Dr. Dre ever wanted to speak on this, he could speak. Dre could speak on it accurately also. Only 2 people was outside, was me and Dr. Dre when we were leaving. So now, but what I found I found some people on the story, on the chat line, should I say, or comments, right? And I'm gonna read this for you because I want you to understand how much of a liar Reggie Wright Jr. is, because his whole theory was, I ain't never seen DELRAY around Death Row, or, I've never seen him. He ain't never been around. He didn't know Tupac. All of these lies that he been telling about me, what I have for you today are the facts, not from me, but from people who actually witnessed the video and Reggie talking about it on Bomb First. I'm going to start with Jalen Gibson. Jalen says, this is facts. I remember Reggie Wright Jr. telling this story some years ago about Pac and Dre getting shot at, right? But it wasn't Pac and Dre. It was me and Dr. Dre. Pac was still inside the party, right? And didn't even know what was going on at that particular time until Suge told the security. Chi-Town Bread. I remember him telling this story, right? That's two people. Chi-Town, My Town, official one and only channel. Facts, right? This is from the story on the Art of Dialogues page from my video. Machiavelli Nasir. I remember him telling this story too on Bomb First, right? And then you go to Bed-Stuy, Daytona, 100, 100, 100, right? And then you get to Kayla Cardinal. And Kayla said, yup, he actually co-signed this DELRAY Richardson story as well. Reggie Wright said that he was there. That has 11 thumbs up. Reasonable Doubt Underworld. He sure did tell this story before, right? I want you to understand something, right? This is over 5 people telling you that what I'm saying and what I said wasn't true facts. But not only that, basically that Reggie Wright, especially Kayla, she had heard that Reggie Wright had co-signed my story because he was there. Now, you understand what I'm saying? How much this guy has been actually lying and clout chasing and telling these fictitious stories. I don't know where that comes from. I don't know what type of people do this. They've been calling this guy a OG. Reggie, he telling it. No, he's been lying. He co-signed my story and mentioned my name because somebody had asked him about me and the story that I told in reference to that party, right? Yeah. That's how it came about. That's how the young lady, Kayla, had came up with that, because he did speak on it. That wasn't the first time I heard it, but I had to go back and, like I said, officially find it so you guys could see it. Reggie Wright's been lying. See, I got another thing. Once again, that proves that lie right there, that he knew I was around. He knew that that story was true. He said that I never met Tupac. I wasn't around, and so on and so forth. So all that's a lie, right? I just want to bring this to you so that you understand who and what you're dealing with. Okay? So now we're going to get into the second part. Now the second part is the fact that Reggie Wright Jr., based on the fact that none of the stuff was in Tupac's name, the house, like I said, the Rolls Royce, the Mercedes, the penthouse on Wilshire, none of that stuff was in Tupac names. But Reggie Wright had to come up with the convenient a lie in order to once again make himself the bearer of information in which he was not privy to, right? Or should I say the go-to man for the information in regards to Tupac. I'm going to tell you like this. Tupac didn't deal with Reggie Wright like that. I want you to understand that. Reggie Wright wasn't close to Tupac like that. He wasn't around Tupac like that. Like I said before, he knew Tupac, I'm sure. They knew each other because he worked at Death Row and so on and so forth. But for the most part, Tupac didn't deal with him. Like I told you before, Tupac fired Reggie Wright because of his negligence. But I'm going to get into this. Check this out. So Reggie Wright has been going around creating this narrative and saying that Tupac credit was bad. And that was the reason why none of the stuff was in Tupac's name. But see, when you do research and you understand what it is, why it was, right? All of that stuff was put in Death Row's name because, once again, it was used as methods to control Tupac, right? You get it? And I'm going to show you if Tupac credit was bad, right? Like Reggie Wright said, right? Reggie said Tupac credit was bad. But if Tupac credit was bad, like Reggie Wright said, then how right before Tupac's death, as reported by the Los Angeles Times, right? And I'm going to read it for you right now. You ready? Check this out. Listen, Reggie Wright going around said that Tupac credit was bad, but I got facts to show you that that's not true. Listen, rapper and actor Tupac Shakur's last house, a nearly 6,000 square foot mansion in an area of Woodland Hills near the Calabasas border, is on the market for $2.6 million. And then it goes in to say Shakur lived in the house from 95 up until the time of his 1996 murder in Las Vegas, though the house was leased for him by his label at the time, Death Row Records. The Los Angeles Times reported in 2000 that Shakur was in escrow to buy the house at the time of his death. So I got a question for you. How is Tupac's credit bad when at that particular time the house was worth about $900,000, right? How is Tupac credit bad if he's in escrow to buy the house at the time of his death? Do you understand what I'm telling you? See what I'm saying? Reggie Wright has been lying profusely. This is borderline narcissistic, like I said, but once again, he's been playing on your lack of knowledge when all I come to bring you is just the facts, the unbiased facts, right? So now you got to understand that, but let me give you some more game, because I don't really think you understand where I'm coming from with what I'm saying and what I'm leading to. Check this out. Now, Reggie Wright would say that Tupac credit was bad. Answer me this. Did Reggie Wright work for the Fair Isaacs Corporation? FICO. You know, when people say, what's your FICO? Did he work for the Fair Isaacs Corporation or any of the credit reporting agencies back then? No. So he would have no firsthand knowledge as to what Tupac's credit score was. But through the investigation of the Los Angeles Times, they basically say, right? The Times reported in the year 2000 that Shakur was in escrow to buy the house at the time of his death. You not buying no $900,000 house and your credit bad. Plain and simple. But let me give you this. You see, what Reggie Wright fails to tell you is that at the time of Tupac's death, you know, the Right Way Security, the Right Way Protective Services, I looked it up, right? At the time of Tupac's death in 1996, Right Way Protective Services was not even registered as a legal business entity by the Secretary of State of California, where you register your businesses. But here's a guy who's been giving out other people's information and talking bad about them, right? When, in fact, during the time of Tupac's death, he didn't even own a company, a legal company, a legal tax-paying company in the state of California. Don't know about no other business anywhere else that he might have had, but he was doing business in California at that particular time. And I'm here to tell you, and you can see it right here. 2002 is when this business information was filed. By who? Reginald L. Wright. Right? So what I say that to say this. Here's a guy who's been giving out everybody's information, but once again, who was paying the security guards a salary? So Reggie Wright didn't own a business, right? He was an employee of Death Row. Death Row cut the checks as far as the security guards and people being paid. And that also came from Michael Moore's a family member. I won't put the name out there who said it, but yes, that all of the checks that Michael Moore had received from Death Row were written by Death Row and not Right Way Security, the company that Tupac fired on August 27th, 1996. Do you understand what I'm saying? So when I come to tell you and bring you this information, and last but not least, Suge Knight did not buy Afeni Shakur a house. Tupac Shakur bought his mother a house. Shortly before he died, as Afeni Shakur was also the co-executive of Tupac's estate, right? And so basically, Tupac had arranged for her to receive like $16,000 monthly, and basically purchased her a home for her in Stone Mountain, Georgia, shortly before his death, right? And so I want you to understand that all of the money that Tupac made, and you go back to the bail agreement once again, basically any expenditures or any expenses that were Tupac basically delegated to be done such and such was recouped from his album sales. So anything that was spent that he asked for from that perspective was basically paid with his money, not Suge Knight's money. You know what I mean? You know, Reggie Wright been running around telling people that, you know, Suge bought Tupac's mom a house, as if Suge bought Tupac's mom a house as a favor to Tupac. You know, that's how they make it sound, you know, when they say that, right? When in fact, Tupac bought his mother a house through his blood, sweat, and tears, and the money generated from his album sales and his royalties. And that was also included in the bail agreement, right? You understand what I'm saying? So now, the lie about me not actually being around, not knowing Tupac, he didn't know Tupac, he was never around, but yet you find people, not myself, who have witnessed the video that Reggie Wright then went and erased because he knew that I would find it. And I had heard about it before, but at the time that I heard about it, I really didn't care because I know I'm telling the truth. So I don't care. I don't care whether he's co-signing my story. Maybe he does, but I don't, right? So that's lie number one that I just showed you, not from me, but from other people who actually witnessed it that I don't even know, who watched my video on the Art of Dialogue, right? Number two, saying that Tupac's credit was bad, and that's the reason why the house, the Rolls Royce, and all of that stuff wasn't in his name. Another lie. Tupac was actually in escrow to buy a $900,000 house that Death Row had rented for him, and Tupac, I guess evidently after they did that, decided that he liked the house and wanted to buy it. These are facts, y'all. You understand what I'm saying? And last but not least, not handling your own business, but telling everybody else's business. They say when you live in a glass house, you must not throw any stones. But I guess Mr. Wright doesn't understand that factual statement. But because he continues to throw stones and tell lies, and then would you say, did you throw the stone and then you hide your hand? Yeah, he's throwing stones, hiding his hand, confirming stories of mine that people have asked him about, and then going and hiding the videos too. Your boy DELRAY, straight gang.